Mic'd up.
Hey, welcome everybody to Mic'd Up Warrior Companion Podcast. My name is John Rager, a Mic'd Up PJ broadcaster, and I'm joined by Jack Doc Bodolowski, also known as Doc Bodo out there in the world of social media at Doc Bodo, and he's a retired Army medic, combat, and founded the Warrior Companion charity. We'll learn a little bit more about Jack later. And we have a special guest right here. Her name's Regina Smith, and she is the founder and president of the Liberty Equine Assistance Program, Liberty being Liberty, New York. And even though that Warrior Companion is basically a charity that helps disabled veterans to help pay for some pet care for their service animals, also there's a mutual interest because right in the backyard where Liberty is, New York, is also Jack, where his animal hospital of Sullivan County, which is a big sponsor of this program, is located. Also, another sponsor of our program is the Sullivan County Golf Club. And that's where we met Regina Smith last year at our golf tournament. And our golf tournament coming up on Saturday, June 13, 2027. But it's the course right down the street from where everybody's involved with this program right now. And owned by Tom Coyne, the famous golf writer. Bill Murray, we all know him from Caddyshack. And Jason Kelsey from NFL football fame. So I know they're getting ready to gather back again in August somewhere at Sullivan County Golf Club. So with that, Regina, welcome to the Warrior Companion Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I feel honored and privileged to, have the chance.
Well, like with all of our podcasts, Jack, we want to get started with you just to give us not an elevator speech, but kind of a short description of Warrior Companion and what it's all about and your service to our country, which we thank you for.
So as we all know, pet healthcare has gone through the roof in the last 5-6 years. So what we do here at Warrior Companion is we provide healthcare for disabled veterans and first responders service animals. So that way they stay fit and on par for their duty to take care of their veterans and their first responders. And one of the things that we cross paths with Regina, and Regina has her therapy horses that also help with veterans and their first responders with their PTSD, and actually just about anybody with PTSD. So that's Warrior Companion spiel. And I thought it'd be a great fit for have Regina on here to talk about what she does and learn a little bit about other avenues that veterans and first responders would have with their PTSD.
Hey, not only do we get to talk to her, we get to see what she does too. Who's that in the background with you earlier?
Well, Karma is actually standing in front of me. I was hoping to do a little demonstration because this is called the round pen because it is in a circle. And this is where most of the magic happens with that guy right there.
Well, good. But hey, before we get to that, let's talk about you. So you're the founder and president of LEAP.
Yeah.
And what is that, and how'd you get involved with it?
Well, as someone who's been obsessed with horses since I was old enough to know what they are, I've always been drawn to work with horses, be around them, smell them, and growing up very aware of how people were dysfunctional. I got a fascination with psychology, and after I have I'm working on my second master's in psychology. I have one in trauma and crisis first response, and I'm working on becoming a licensed mental health counselor in the state of New York. So when I learned that horses and mental health could be combined into this non-judgmental, no agenda format where people move at their own pace and you are accepted exactly as you are, that's kind of, as someone who was always a little bit of a weirdo growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends. I moved around a lot. The horses were really the only thing that horses and dogs, which is why we're here, right? Horses and dogs may have a way of making people kind of pushed to the sidelines for one reason or another. They're the great equalizers. They don't care what you've been through. They don't care that you have nightmares. They just care for who you are when you show up in the round pen.
So Regina,
and
I understand you have a background in riding these horses.
yes,
So what is that background?
so I've been riding for almost 20 years. I like to jump over tall colored sticks. I like going fast. I've done some barrel racing, but I
Oh.
mean, my true passion is to train them. I've been making therapy horses for 10 years, and you can't have any horse be a therapy horse. They have to have a good mind, a solid foundation and heart, and they have to have a lot of trust. Um, and they have to be over their trauma too, if they're going to be good therapy horses.
Well, Regina, you want to take us over there, I guess, to see Karma over there?
Well, I think he's decided he wants to come here.
Oh, that's even better. All right.
And I might have come prepared with some cookies in my pocket.
That's fantastic. All right.
And I chose him because he's very social. I call him the Lamborghini of the barn because, bless you, he is like he's the show horse, right? He's the kit and caboodle, the very well trained animal. And he has a story, right? He kind of ended up at this barn after he was bought by rich people who knew nothing about horses, and he found the treats in my pocket. And his body was a mess. He's very smart. His body was a mess. And they continued to ride him even when he was in pain. So he got a reputation for being a little mean and unsafe. And then he came here to Novo Springs, and with just a little bit of time and patience to recover, we have this social little butterfly here. It's amazing what a little time and patience can do. I think I answered your question, but I do tend to babble sometimes.
I love his name.
Karma. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. He's a big quarter horse. He's big. And a lot of people are drawn to the size. A lot of the veterans I've worked with in the past, they like the bigger horses. Because I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but I mean, he's fairly large. His withers are almost even with my head, right? So he's a good
Big
size.
boy.
And even though they're so big, the veterans, it's people are a little taken aback by them
Intimidated.
because they're big.
Yeah.
But veterans are used to facing things that they're not necessarily sure of. So right now he's very alert. He does, maybe something's moving. And so what I do is I just kind of draw attention to what the horse is saying. Like, he's on high alert, something's moving, something in the environment has changed. So by just interpreting his behavior and talking to whoever I'm working with, instead of being like, hey, you need to calm down because you're super anxious right now, it's, hey, your horse is showing signs of anxiety. Clearly not right now.
Right.
But by making it less kind of threatening that way, like, hey, your horse is scared, how can we make him feel better? Oh, I don't know, a scratch, taking some deep breaths, taking a break, right?
Yeah.
So you learn other ways to kind of regulate yourself and become one with your body and your mind without having to use that intimidating, labeling, marginalized language.
So
Wow.
I also want to point out that Regina does team building.
Yes.
Also, she does stuff with businesses and doing team building as well. So she understands, how the inners and outer works of difficulties are, and she brings that to the table as well. So I just
Well,
wanted to point that
that's a
out
unique
too.
perspective too, though, Jack, because you think about most people don't grow up on farms. I mean, Jack, you're in the veterinary business. Regina, you've grown up in this environment, but a lot of folks in corporate America, and they've never ridden a horse. They've not been to a farm. They have no idea where the food comes from. They think it comes from the grocery store or something. So it's probably a really good team building exercise because, just like what you said, the nonverbal communication that you will have with the horse
Hmm.
can go a long way in helping people understand themselves and others a lot better.
And
Oh, 100%.
like John, as we all know, that golf helps veterans too because of the team spirit that you're a 4-man team. You do a different, you're out there, doing a mission. You know, you're there to win the tournament. It's everybody has a part in the team. That's kind of a lot like what Regina does with the horses as well.
Yeah,
So
Well,
you
I don't know
find
if golf's that good of a perspective, Doc, because it's the most infuriating game on the planet. It's the most rewarding and the
it's
most infuriating. We have an expression about golf. Golf is not a matter of life and death. It's more important than that.
right.
Or, but it's funny though, like in both games, you require great patience, right? You have to, people think that, the horse does all the work. And yes, they are moving, they are carrying us, right? But you have to know, I mean, I played golf all of one time, right? It does require skill, it requires patience, it requires um science, I'm sure to a certain degree, in terms of how hard you have to hit, what club you need to use to get the desired result. And it's kind of similar because there's a lot of cause and effect here, right? And if I came into this round pen with the wrong energy, he would be going ballistic instead of begging me to scratch him, right? So they may be
Yeah.
different, but they're great for veterans, and there's so many ways that the two overlap. And we might have to take a walk up to the barn while I'm doing this, just because
Yeah,
See,
go ahead. This
I
is but we're organic. I mean, I'm sitting inside a car in a thunderstorm, and of course, Doc's in the warmth and safety of his studio up there at the
in
Animal
my
County
basement,
Hospital. Yeah, there you go.
mean,
But yeah, take a walk
I just
with
with Karma there.
yeah, there you go.
yeah, he looked so handsome. I had to show you guys.
Oh
Well,
no, that's absolutely wonderful. You were talking about golf and horses and things like that. And there are a lot of equestrians out there that are also golfers. I know down in our way, down in Florida,
isn't
we have
polo
the
like golf?
we have the World Equestrian Center down here in Ocala, which is
Oh my God,
big
yeah.
time equestrian. But they also have a lot of golfers. They have their own golf course, Golden Ocala, which is one of the great golf courses in Florida. So there is a crossover a lot between these equestrians and horses and things. And years ago, I had a chance to open up a golf course for a multi-billionaire golf course community, and so we only had like 100 members, and most of them owned horses. They all were off to the races, and they were breeders and trainers, and it was quite an experience. I knew nothing about horses, but learned quite a bit as far as just being around it. And it's probably a lot like the golf business. It's a way of life when you're around horses. Probably it's not just something you do as a passing fancy. It's your culture, it's your way of life, I would
It
suppose.
is all consuming. It will take everything, your life, your time, your soul,
Your
everything
money?
in your bank account.
It's like dogs too.
See,
Yeah.
I consider myself a low maintenance woman. I don't need the heels, I don't need the purses, but my hobby is very expensive.
Okay, so let's talk about Leap a little bit. So that's your
Yeah.
organization, and
Yeah.
so what do you do exactly with them? What kind of programs you run with Leap?
So right now it's 99% unmounted, so that means you never get on the horse's back. Um, so basically the program is based off connection, right? There's four main pillars. There's consent, communication, choice, and connection, right? So much, especially PTSD. PTSD makes you feel like you're alone and nobody else out there understands what you're going through.
Hmm.
That's the nature of the disease, right?
Yeah.
And I was so tired of people feeling like they were alone because these guys right here, like just they secrete a scientifically measurable electromagnetic field that lowers your blood pressure and your breathing rate. So we literally feel better standing next to them. So even if also I have one client, all she wants to do is come out here and touch them and be with them. And that is like her regular regulation.
Grounding.
Yeah, her grounding. And she goes and she's like, okay, I'm ready to face the week, right? And everybody's different. Some people need the structured activities like build an obstacle course and lead your horse through it without using a halter and lead rope. That requires connection, paying attention, empathy, communication. Um, Other people just want to be loose in the round pen and do training, which I will like the veterans I've worked with. When we put them into our program, the horses were happier, better shape, they were more mentally engaged. So when I work with veterans, first responders, like what they love about it too is when they're training the horses here or working with them, it's not me just or the horses giving to them. It is them giving back to the horses. So being able to have that I guess symbiotic relationship, unless that's a negative term, but to have that kind of give and take there, with no agendas, right? And that's really for me, because everywhere you look, especially if you are a veteran or anyone struggling with trauma, you have a good thing, and all of a sudden you pull back and you're like, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop? Where's the hook, right? And horses don't lie. They don't have that agenda. So you come here, you be honest, you don't get judged, and for the most part, that's what Leap is really about. Um, I mean, obviously, we don't want you coming in here and there's guidelines, of course, but like you come here and you get what you want out of it. You know, we work with people with disabilities, we work with veterans, we work with at-risk youth, and like Jack said, anybody who wants to come through who struggled with trauma or just trying to improve their quality of life.
What I notice about both organizations, Warrior Companion and Leap, my observation is that there wasn't just a manual that you say, okay, here's how we deal with these vets, and here's how a dog interacts, here's how a horse interacts. You guys are like pioneers. You've evolved. You're learning so much every day because all these veterans and first responders,
And
they're all across the board.
everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
don't know what it is with animals. They are able to connect with the different auras that people carry. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's unbelievable how the animals just connect with the trauma that that person
Yeah.
has, or and sometimes the animal had similar trauma, and they
Yeah.
they tend to to track to that the likeness. So
So they're
100%. I mean,
actually teaching the humans that those animals are teaching us how to be a little bit more instinctive, not only about with them, but with ourselves as far as you know, looking at our gut feeling, or if we have a funny thought about something didn't seem just right. There's a lot of instinctual things probably, and if you have PTSD, there's it's probably something that really jumps out at you internally, and you don't have any way to express that to anybody else, because people don't understand what it is, but an animal does. An
mm-hmm.
animal can
we don't even
sense
understand
it.
it. That's the
Yeah,
problem, is that
yeah,
we don't understand it at all.
yeah,
And the only therapy other than drugs and alcohol and bad behavior is the positive side, is dogs and horses and
yeah.
animals and nature and getting out on the golf course and, you know,
Moving, being
just,
outside,
yep, just being
being with
connected.
others.
Yep. Being,
Yeah.
being grounded, basically.
Yeah.
So Regina, what's the future hold for Leap? I mean, what's your goals? How long you been in existence, and what's your goals down the road for your organization?
Well, I'm about to hit my 1 year anniversary actually in just a couple days.
Well,
My
happy anniversary.
Thank you, thank you. I This is going to sound a little bold, but I kind of I'm just gonna say it. I want to have an empire. I want to have locations everywhere because I'm like this work is so desperately needed. I've been in traditional therapy most of my life. The only modality that worked was EMDR for me. And do you guys know what EMDR is?
Nope. Explain
I
it.
do not know.
So
What is that?
eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It basically you take a memory that you that triggers you, right? And not to use that word, but you play that memory in your mind, and then there's a stimulus like a light or a buzzer or vibrating hand paddles that your body focuses on, and you're literally retraining your nervous system to stop reacting negatively to that memory. So it's because so many times you can tell your mind that you're safe. It's the body that remembers.
Right.
It's the body that goes into the sympathetic nervous system and you're activated. So you can do mounted EMDR with horses. So you can combine this power of science and equus. So I want to be able to do that for people because another thing that horses teach us is not just how to pay attention to danger and to trust your instincts, but how to come back down. Because horses connect with veterans, especially Mustangs, because they're caught in that fight or flight. They're prey animals. They are always expecting danger. They're always looking for that mountain lion or the monster under the bed. So, but once the danger is past, most horses that are securely attached or confident in their human will have something scary happen, but then very quickly return back to the present and focus again on what's actually happening and not the threat. So this is one thing that horses can teach veterans. Oh, he doesn't like the rain, so he's trying to run into the barn.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, Regina. We thoroughly enjoy talking to you, learning about LEAP. How do people find you out there?
So I am on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And my website is libertyeap.org.
Which stands for Liberty Equine
Assisted Program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, it's I can't go deeper into the barn because I'll lose signal.
Yeah.
So we're
Well,
just
that's
gonna
just
stand
fine. We're
here
getting
and
ready to
watch
wrap
the
it up anyway, Regina. We got to get you safe inside the barn. And so with that, we really appreciate you being on the Warrior Companion podcast. And so for everybody viewing out there, if you want to know more about Warrior Companion, it's real simple. You go to warriorcompanion.com. Also, you go to, what's your website again, Regina?
libertyeap.org.
libertyeap.org. You can find out about
sir.
both
And if you need to
organizations.
find her, you can always reach out to me, and I can always point you in the right direction too.
That's right. If you got anything to do with social media and you do at Doc Bodo, DOCBODO, you will find this man littered all over the place on the social media, and you'll find out more about both organizations there. And so with that, we're going to sign off in a few moments here, but we appreciate the sponsorship of the Animal Hospital with Sullivan County, and also the Sullivan County Golf Club hosts of the Warrior Companion Golf Tournament, June 13th, 2027. So with that, I'm your mic'd up PJ broadcaster, John Rager. We appreciate everybody being on. We'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Thank you.